guys, we're going to be playing on the Bob the Boater server today, and I have a small heli base design that I would love to share with you guys. A member of my group, Hermie, actually showed me this heli base design a few months ago, and I was really skeptical about how efficient this base would actually be, but it seems to work very well. We've been using it for a long time, and it's a design that has become, I would say, pretty preferred to us compared to normal heli base designs. So what you want to do is get down a square in the front for your doorway, your ladder hatch, and you're going to want a triangle in the back for your cupboard. You want to place your cupboard down, and preferably you would rather have a teammate place it down, and you never access this cupboard at all. Like, never touch it. That way, if you are to fight the heli by yourself, you have never touched the the cupboard in this base, and the heli will never rocket the base, as long as your friend who is authorized is not in it fighting it as well. So we want to wall off the back here, 2 stories high. You can option to put a door here, or a wall. I prefer to wall it off, that way I never touch it. Now the inside can be wood, but you want your outside walls as stone, only on the first story. This just prevents people from flamethrower raiding your base. If they were to flamethrower your foundations, or the backside of that wall, then your whole base would just crumble apart, and we don't want that happening. Now this, we want to keep stone. This can be wood, like I said. Actually, we'll do it this way. We'll keep it exactly how we would build it in a vanilla server. All wood. Now you want your doorway up front here. Obviously you want a stone doorway as well. You can slap a sheet metal door on, is usually the way that I prefer to go with doors on the front. I don't really think it's necessary to put an armored door on here, simply because it's just a heli base. So once you get that down, you want to get yourself a box. You can do a large or small box, it really doesn't matter. But you want to just place it in the corner here. I prefer to place mine in the back corner. I like a large box personally, just simply because it's less space. Now, typically, it isn't this hard to get these done. Upgrading it's kind of a pain. You can either have someone boost you, or if you leave it twig and place your hatch, you can actually just jump off your hatch. If I could get up the hatch. And then you can upgrade it whenever you reach the top floor. Okay, once you have all this upgraded, which I think I forgot these back too. Like I said, everything on the outside can be wood. Once you have these upgraded, you just want to do floors all the way around here. And then, oops. And then triangles to fill in the spaces. And it looks a little weird, but it'll prove its effectiveness soon. The way I like to do it is doorway, window, all the way around. If you end up with double doorway, that's fine. There are ways you can do it if you pay attention without doing that. There are obviously a lot of builds you can do on the top of this base. This is just the way I prefer to do it. Now this will take damage from the heli. Wood does now take damage from heli, but it's not as bad as you would think it would be. There will be stability issues, obviously. You can fix these simply just by building in different places until you get the stability to build where you were trying to originally build. Now I do prefer to put a ladder hatch in the top of the base here. This allows you to peek the heli when it's flying directly over you. To keep things cheap and, it is for like an early wipe. You're not going to be the richest person in the world. I don't normally put a code lock on this hatch. I usually let it hang out. These doors I prefer to place backwards, essentially, where they're facing outwards whenever you open them. It helps with peeking the heli, because if you have it open, you can peek the heli over these points, and it has issues hitting you. Let me see if I can make a gun real quick. Okay, so typically with this kind of base, you have a bolt, because you're not the richest person, you have M2s. You can shoot the heli out of here. You can also shoot it out of this way as well. And the ladder hatch is good when it flies over your base, or sometimes it hovers high, like cloud level, and you can just main rotor it from here, over and over and over. Close your hatch when you need to heal. These bars, these windows, I mean, I do tend to put window bars in. It's not a necessity, but I always find it a little bit easier. Shutters also would probably be a better alternative if you had the wood to do shutters. Because if you put shutters on here, you can open it when you're fighting the heli, and then you can close them to heal. It won't shoot you except for through these cracks, which is not very likely it hits a lot. What I've also found to be helpful is to have one person peeking the windows, only windows, one person peeking only doorways. If you have multiple people in this base when you're fighting the heli, too many times like you'll open a door and you'll sit right here fighting the heli, and then your teammate will be right behind you trying to shoot over you, and you'll try and heal and you'll die. So I do recommend doing one person in the doorways, one person on the windows, and it makes it very, very easy to take down the heli. Now, I don't really recommend putting code locks on these wooden doors, simply considering the fact that the wooden door itself is only 300 wood, and a code lock is 400 wood plus the metal frags. It doesn't really make sense to me to waste the wood and metal on them. But if you get farther along on the wipe and you start to have extra materials, it could become a priority for you at some point. The only other thing that I would recommend with the space is to code lock this ladder hatch, because if you don't code lock this ladder hatch, and someone kills you with the door open, they could essentially reach your teammates, or reach, if you put a sleeping bag up here, or a box with a bolt and gear up here, you could gain access to that. Another thing that I do recommend is keeping boxes up here. You can keep boxes under your windows. If you place them right against the window, they won't be in your way. When you go to peek, it'll actually give you a little more cover on your lower half of your body, and it keeps you from peeking too far out the window. Because you don't want to peek like all the way in the window. Like if you're just sitting in the window like this and heli's right here, it's gonna destroy your health really quickly. If you peek from kind of far away and just take a quick shot or two, it's not gonna be as bad. Now this is a little bit more modified version of the heli base that I normally do. I normally do not have the window shutters. I find it sufficient to fight the heli without them. I do, however, normally like to get my boxes, at least one box on the top story, just so I can mainly peek this window to keep myself from being harmed too much. Now, as far as tips and tricks for fighting the heli go, the main trick is to hit the rotors on top. You want to hit the top rotor until it's on fire, then hit the back rotor until it's on fire. Pretty simple, most people know that. One thing that a lot of people don't seem to know is that once the heli is aggroed on you, if it's really close, like already aggroed onto your base, what you can do is open the doorway. If it's on your right side, you want to peek from the left, that way you're not exposed to the whole doorway. If it's on this left side, you want to try and peek from a window if it was right here. A tip I can give you to really dodge heli damage and not use as many meds or die to the heli is to quickly peek and run back, and then as soon as the heli starts to machine gun fire, you just stop peeking for a minute. This is like a 99% time thing. Sometimes if you peek too quickly, like if you just peek real quick like that, it'll shoot 1 or 2 bullets and stop shooting. It's still going to full spray you next time you peek it. If you peek real quick, come back, and it starts to full spray its machine gun, do not peek until it stops shooting. The second it stops shooting its machine gun, you can peek out and you can get really quick. If you shoot them back to back, you can get 2 bolt shots out on it. If you shoot it rather slowly, like if you take your time to aim on the rotor and actually hit the rotor perfectly, you might only get 1 shot out. But all you have to do is to peek it again, open the doorway, peek your shoulder, close the doorway. Once it's fully sprayed the entire machine gun clip, I think it's like 30 or 35 bullets, it won't shoot you again for another like 5 seconds. It does have a cooldown. So you can peek it, shoot it, peek it to get it to shoot its machine gun fire, wait it out, shoot it again. Now the one thing I've noticed about the timing in between the machine gun fires is if you were to peek it and try and heal immediately, it's going to do its full machine gun spray. You'll get 1 med off, and as you're pulling off your bolt, it's going to make you lose a shot. So you might barely get 1 shot off, and then it's going to hit you with 1 or 2 bullets. So you want to try not to med or reload your gun in between the shots. My preferred method of conserving ammo in between the heli sprays is to peek it, let it shoot. As soon as it stops shooting, I like to get 1 shot off on the rotor, try and get a second on the main row if I can. If not, I wait it out. Then as soon as it's done, I peek it again, get a main row shot, and try and get a second. This allows you to use all 4 of your bolt bullets and get 2 full machine gun sprays out of the heli's hair so it doesn't shoot you with them. As far as healing up, I recommend keeping a campfire on this top story. It's really good to have like cooked chicken or something with your campfire here. Just heal up, always have it running if you need to heal. It'll give you comfort levels, and when you eat food, you'll gain much more health from the food that you're eating while you're fighting the heli. You don't want to take too much time to heal, because the heli could de-aggro or re-aggro onto another clan's base, or another player, I should say. But you don't want to die to the heli either, so it's really hard to heal versus the heli, so it's really important that when you peek that machine gun spray, you peek it quickly and close your door, and then you just don't let it full spray you, because it'll do a lot of damage quickly. It is theoretically possible to fight the entire heli down it by yourself and never use one med or eat a food. Now, is it unlikely? Yes, but it is possible. The bottom story being stone is pretty essential. You don't want anyone running up with one rocket or an incendiary rocket or flamethrower, you know, whatever they have in their arsenal, and just taking down your entire base at once. With the bottom story being stone, you're really not at risk at losing your whole base. Even if they were to shoot an incendiary rocket into one of your doors, if it were to be opened, they would only burn this top part and at most your ladder hatch. They wouldn't burn the whole base, because if the flames were to fall in here, which is nearly impossible by the way, they would fall straight down in the stone, which wouldn't really affect your base that much. Okay, so I did go ahead and rebuild this base in a different location. With the doors and the shutters, ladder hatches both code locked, a sheet window door in the front, the cupboard is walled in, all in wood, same exact base as the last one. I started with 100,000 of each resource, so I used 2,200 stone approximately, around 13,200 wood, and about 1,000 metal frags. I did mess up and accidentally use 600 extra metal frags, so maybe not even 1,000, but around 1,000. That's not bad. 13,000 wood is extremely easy to get, especially early game. 2,000 stone is extremely simple. I think it would be like 2,100. I think there's just 7 stone things you have to upgrade. I could be wrong on that number. Maybe it's only 6. But anyway, you get the point. It's a very simple, cheap, and very, very effective heli base. It's super easy to take down, has a lot of defense points. This base can also be turned into a base defense tower, very simply. Not all sides will be able to place ladder hatches on them, simply because of the stability issues. You can see it's really low in stability. A couple of these will not be able to. You could potentially place floors here, or barricades in front of the doors and use it that way. You don't really want to peek too far down, so I recommend keeping to the ladder hatches here. As you can see, it'll go straight underneath your base. You do, however, want to try and get one at your front doors, so if it's at all possible, you could take out this floor and put a ladder hatch instead of that floor, if you're looking for a base defense tower. You know, this doesn't really pertain to the heli tower part, but I'm just showing how this base can be transformed into other things. Now, obviously it's not the prettiest base in the world, it is a little weird looking, but it's very efficient for what it's supposed to be used for. It has many, many uses. Feel free to use this heli base, guys. Like I said, it's a really weird looking design, but it's very effective. It's going to help you down a lot of helis early game, and feel free to use this base as much as you guys want, especially if you're like a duo, or even if you're just 3 or 4 guys. When you're early game, you know, it's really hard, especially if you're on the first day and you're working up getting on guns and stuff. You know, resources can be hard because you're probably investing them into your main base. If you're in a group, I do recommend building multiple of these bases. Whoever places this cupboard, and by the way, it should be just one person that touches this cupboard, and that's the person who places it. No one else should touch it. Cannot fight it from this base anymore, because they will get the base rocketed. And as you can see, it's a wooden base, you know. It won't really withstand hits from rockets. What I recommend is to build another heli base, the exact same design, in a different position from it. You want to go clear out of the covered range of it. You also want to go clear out of the covered range of your main base. Whoever places the cabinet in the first heli base should not touch the cabinet in the second heli base. I recommend that only one person touch this cabinet as well, That way the players in your group that have not touched either cabinet can fight it from either tower without anyone being longed on and authorized. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Have fun with this heli base, and I hope to see you guys downing a lot of helis. Peace.